Greetings from MIT OpenCourseWare centric wiki, world, university, and school on this Monday, October 6th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Pacific time, seeking to try something new again with the WUAS weekly business meeting, WUAS News and Question and Answer. And in doing so, I sent out this agenda last week on September 28th, Sunday, for 8 days of seasoning. So until today, October 6th, and to invite feedback and your thinking in a variety of ways. So glad to have attended a friend's meeting online recently, and see agenda item 8 in the agenda for Asiatic Lions. And also with the nonprofit 501c3 wing, worlduniversityandschool.org, and the for-profit general stock company legal entity in California wing, the academic press, which is website is worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html, still sharing the same root domain URL, that is worlduniversityandschool.org. And the latter is also for the WS Educational Services Stores and the WUS Corporation. How best to plan for example, 1 or 2 bank accounts, and regarding developing the 501c3 nonprofit U.S. federal legal entity, World University and School, and possibly even with the second legal entity in the state of California, for-profit general stock company, the academic press at World University and School, the WS Corporation, the WS Educational Services Stores, possibly even multi-listing on many stock exchanges, but starting with one stock exchange. So one board of or 2 boards, and in also seeking to use AI in the boardroom. And this is an upcoming Stanford Law Rock Center online webinar on October 10th, the end of this week. So greetings further from free students, MIT OCW-centric, ocw.mit.edu wiki, grow with Google WUAS. That's a hashtag on LinkedIn and Twitter X, World University and School, WUAS. The next MIT OCW-centric, ocw.mit.edu, and regarding these previous versions of OpenCourseWare, beginning with the URL opencw.aprende.org courses, translated courses, which lists the approximately 6 languages that MIT OpenCourseWare had been translated into when I think this website was made, before the new version of MIT OpenCourseWare emerged. And also regarding the website opencw.aprende.org/courses, which lists the approximately 38 departments at MIT. The next MIT OCW-centric Wiki World University and School WS News and Question and Answer meets today, somewhat to focus on these building out free degrees, both from MIT OCW.edu's older website on the courses, opencw.aprende.org/courses, and in the 7 languages it's in, including English, with more than 2,500 courses in English. So further, all the best abolitionally, MIT OCW centric wiki, world, university, and school. Hashtag WUAS abolition movement is growing, and friendly NTF, NTQ, Quaker greetings, Scott GK McLeod. And the recording of today's WUAS news will be posted here at youtube.com/Scott McLeod World University /videos. So agenda item so the first wing, the World University and School wing, the first of two WUS wings, the 501c3 or similar nonprofit listed in guidestar.org, affiliated with the IRS, CC4 licensed ocw.mit.edu centric wing, which is also wiki, World University and School, worlduniversityandschool.org. You can see the tax ID numbers at the bottom of that page. Agenda item 0. So the Monday, September 22nd, 2025, video recording as kind of video minutes were posted, and beginning with the blog post beginning red-tailed hawk, Buteo jamaicensis, and with a focus also on Zoom for the people, agentic AI, or avatar agency, and twinning AI and AI work platform. So those are 4 hashtags on Twitter, X, and LinkedIn. Hashtag Zoom for the people, hashtag agentic AI, hashtag twinning AI, hashtag AI work platform. Check it out on the main current YouTube video channel for World University and School at Scott McLeod World University /videos on YouTube. Agenda item 1. I'm really excited in making free MIT OCW centric World University and School free WUS degrees available with WUS AI and machine learning, potentially newly for speakers of all 7,159 living languages, and in starting a strategic plan for this. Prior to this, World University and School has been thinking of developing free online degrees in all 200 countries' main and official languages. But seeking now with AI and ML, and in a Grow with Google WS program, to seek to create free online degrees that are MIT OpenCourseWare centric and in a Grow with Google WS program for speakers of all 7,159 known living languages, where useful, and as we build out our large language models and similar. So the strategic plan, in a beginning way, is a response from Gemini AI in these regards. And check out the Gemini AI response. And this is also relevant for my upcoming book, hashtag Soc Info Tech and the Global University, to be published by the WS Press. And the Twitter post for all languages at World University and School, which is just in a very beginning way, is x.com/SGKMACLEOD. And that Twitter post was posted also on Twitter, X, and LinkedIn. So check it out also in the blog post beginning Clarkia franciscana from September of 2025, which is an endangered species in the East Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area. So agenda item 2. Another blog post regarding this this time the basic units of a realistic virtual Earth for genetics. And regarding EMBLs, European Molecular Biological Laboratories, 2 short videos that were sent through to my smartphone. One with a focus on a new updated web design of at EMBL for 3D imaging of proteins, DNA, and bound ligands. And this one page that they showed had a single protein and 3 DNAs, one distinct protein, 3 DNA or RNAs, and 4 bound ligands. And check out the page. It's for a specific, potentially gene, I think. And could these become the building blocks, the basic units of a realistic virtual Earth for genetics? And further, check out Jennifer Fleming exploring a related topic in a YouTube short on how they make these web pages and get at identifying at the, I think, molecular level, 1 distinct protein, 3 DNA or RNAs, and 4 bound ligands, for example. And check out also Ewan Burney, a director at European Molecular Biological Laboratories, AI model forecasts disease risk, where probabilistically, he and a team at EMBL have developed an AI model which forecasts disease risk with machine learning. Could World University and School build out a realistic virtual Earth for genetics with these basic units and with EMBL, new 3D web resources as kind of libraries? And could World University and School also develop a realistic virtual Earth for extreme longevity and a realistic virtual Earth for even aging reversal, potentially with, for example, AlphaFold 3 server and isomorphic labs, machine learning platforms or large language models, and combined with Ewan Burney's AI model forecasts disease risk to further develop a realistic virtual Earth for genetics and in some ways for helping people regarding even extreme longevity and aging reversal. So Jennifer Fleming explores protein structures with PDBE's new entry pages at EMBL. PDBE is a way of, I think, measuring and looking at molecularly proteins, DNAs, RNAs, and bound ligands. And this particular example, this particular page is from a Homo sapiens, and check it out. How best to work with another set of Twitter posts, how best to work with these possible hashtag basic units of hashtag realistic virtual Earth, hashtag for genetics, hashtag EMBLs, 1 unique protein, 3 DNA or RNAs, 4 bound ligands. And check out the European Molecular Biological Laboratories example page for this, toward hashtag extreme longevity, and specifically regarding 300 times C. elegans lifespan, a roundworm that lives typically 3 weeks. Could we help it to live 900 weeks or similar, and virtually using a realistic virtual Earth for species, a realistic virtual Earth for genetics and for cells, to model C. elegans 3-week lifespan interactively and in a realistic virtual Earth, even for evolutionary biology, and then to extend the lifespan of C. elegans on the virtual side. C. elegans is a unique species because it only has 302 neurons and 959 somatic cells in the adult, I think, male of the species, possibly the hermaphrodite. And could we even, in a realistic virtual Earth for genetics and a realistic virtual Earth for methylation, explore how to extend a virtual C. elegans roundworm's lifespan with methylation? And see the blog post beginning Willow Ptarmigan in my blog from September of 2025, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/2025/09/willow-ptarmigan or ptarmigan.html. And could World University and School collaborate with EMBL in these regards? And to develop an experiment to extend C. elegans lifespan, and also learn how to work with their library of resources that are designed for 3D to do these virtual species life extension projects in a realistic virtual Earth for extreme longevity, for example. Think Google Street View with Time Slider, Google Maps, Google Earth, TensorFlow AI, Google Cell View, Google Molecule View, with EMBL as resources, as World University and School begins to seek to hire our own programmers and coders in these regards for a realistic virtual Earth for genetics and for biology. And think that a Google Street View with Time Slider at the cell view level would interoperate with EMBL's digital resources, its web pages, its proteins, DNAs, RNAs, ligands, and as kind of libraries, and to further develop approaches for a realistic virtual Earth for genetics, a realistic virtual Earth for extreme longevity, a realistic virtual Earth for aging reversal. And more about this in the blog post, also from September of 2025, beginning Scottish-rock-ptarmigan.html, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com, 2025-09, Scottish-rock-ptarmigan.html. Agenda item 3. How do genes create an individual organism? For example, C. elegans, brainstorming, and extrapolating. So these are 4 questions I asked Gemini AI all about C. elegans and how different levels of life's basic units might create an individual organism. So how do genes create an individual organism? For example, C. elegans, brainstorming, and extrapolating. How do cells create an individual organism? For example, C. elegans, brainstorming, and extrapolating. How do molecules create an individual organism? For example, C. elegans, brainstorming, and extrapolating. And how do atoms create an individual organism? for example, C. elegans, brainstorming, and extrapolating. And Gemini AI gave some incredible further responses, and check it out in the blog post beginning Willow Ptarmigan again from September of 2025. Agenda item 4. This is regarding a realistic virtual Earth. Think Google Street View with Time Slider, Google Cell View, Google Molecule View, Google Atomic View or Atom View with Time Slider and as a large language model and coded with AI and machine learning. So a realistic virtual Earth for consciousness, for the mind-body problem. How best to add a particular philosophy paper, hashtag philosophy paper, on which I received in my email box. I think it was authored by David Chalmers, and the title is in the Slovak language. So how best to add this particular philosophy paper to hashtag text in the sidebar, to a hashtag realistic virtual Earth for consciousness in one hashtag realistic virtual Earth, thinking hashtag G Street View with G Time Slider, G Atom View with TensorFlow. In its hashtag Slovak WUAS language, hashtag Slovak WUAS language. And the title in Slovak is Moha by byť veľký jazykový model LLM vedomý. And it means it's a philosophy paper that I think David Chalmers wrote in English. It means, interestingly, the title of David Chalmers' paper in Slovak can be translated into English. Could the large language model be conscious? So could we find this out further by adding the paper, text in the sidebar, to a realistic virtual Earth for consciousness that was coded to address, as a large language model, a whole series of philosophical issues around consciousness, around the mind-body problem, drawing from a voluminous set of databases of philosophy papers about consciousness, and see where the AI and the machine learning go. See what the AI and the machine learning do with this paper in translating it into could a large language model be conscious from the Slovak language. Could we begin then to interact with a realistic virtual Earth for consciousness in language, speaking to Gemini AI or ChatGPT, and explore whether this realistic virtual Earth for consciousness as a large language model indeed had subjective experience, was aware, is aware, has sentience, has feeling, and look at questions of consciousness from the perspective of what AI and machine learning might do with this paper and in a realistic virtual Earth for consciousness. So could a large language model, think Google Street View with Time Slider, text in the sidebar, at the cell, atom, and molecule levels, manifest consciousness, subjective experience, sentience, awareness, feeling. So a further set of Twitter posts in these regards: how to add this hashtag fill paper to hashtag text in the sidebar in hashtag realistic virtual earth for consciousness in hashtag realistic virtual earth, hashtag G street view, hashtag G time slider, hashtag G atom view, hashtag TensorFlow in hashtag Slovak WUAS, Mohol být velký Jakový model LLM vedomí, at David Chalmers 42 on Twitter X, and the fill paper URL, and see how hashtag AI and ML hashtag manifests consciousness. I'm hoping this will become possible in the future, possibly the near future. We can't yet either, as I understand it, add text to text in the sidebar of Google Street View with Time Slider. We can't yet add a paper to text in the sidebar of Google Street View with Time Slider, Google Cell View, Google Molecule View, and see what happens in the visual window, the interactive virtual earth that emerges, which could depict the Street View level or the Cell View level or the Molecule View level or the Atom View level. But perhaps we will be able to do this as a realistic virtual earth iterates further. And read more about this in a blog post beginning Yellow Star Thistle Centaurea in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/2025/09, and beginning Yellow Star Thistle Centaurea from September. And further, in some of these regards, I've long been curious about how hashtag Slovak WUS language in a hashtag realistic virtual earth for languages with hashtag AI and ML differently from the hashtag Hindi language WUS and differently from English WUS could inform our developing knowledge of, for example, the hashtag body-mind problem, or scientific, philosophical, and hashtag brain science questions, and how. And these are questions of linguistic relativity in the anthropological field too. How Slovak would give us certain understandings of consciousness, whereas adding this paper maybe in the Hindi language to a realistic virtual earth for consciousness into the text in the sidebar opportunity would create opportunities to understand consciousness from the Hindi language perspective with its roots in the Sanskrit language too. And read more about this further in the blog post from September of 2025, beginning Yellow Star Thistle Centaurea in scott-mccloud.blogspot.com's blog. Agenda item 5. Also, with the nonprofit 501c3 wing, worlduniversityandschool.org, and the for-profit general stock company legal entity in California wing, worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html, still sharing the same root domain, worlduniversityandschool.org, how best to plan for 1 or 2 bank accounts still, and regarding the developing 501c3 GuideStar profile, which is for 501c3s, which World University and School has been since 2010, and possibly even multi-listing on the stock exchange with the WS Corporation, for-profit general stock company, legal entity in the state of California. But starting with one stock exchange. And so World University and School in these regards is also seeking to code for most or all of 7.9 billion people on the planet, and potentially to distribute a main single cryptocurrency as we build out our WUAS blockchain too, for 7.9 billion people, and for our WS Educational Services stores in all 200 countries, and for speakers of all 7,000 languages, physical, digital WS Educational Services stores in a realistic virtual earth for retail, for stores, and potentially also so a blockchain for something like 200 or WS Educational Services stores. Think Walmart in 19 out of 200 countries per the Olympics, where the WS Educational Services store seeks to be in 200 countries per the Olympics. How would this blockchain look? And could our nonprofit, worlduniversityandschool.org, 501c3, be coded separately enough from the WS Corporation, the worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html, a for-profit general stock company and legal entity in the state of California, to list the WS Educational Services stores, the WS Press, the WS Corporation, on stock exchanges? And what would that mean for the first wing, worlduniversityandschool.org, if they couldn't be coded separately enough? Or how will we write the AI and machine learning coding financially, and with the blockchain, and with World University and Schools partnering email with Stanford MindPi cryptocurrency, and in seeking to code for 7.9 billion people on the planet, such that potentially our WS Corporation, World University and School.org/academicpress.html, could be listed on a stock exchange or multi-listed on stock exchanges. Perhaps this upcoming Stanford Law Rock Center ChatGPT in the boardroom, AI in the boardroom, will help. Perhaps even with World University and School being in a WS Grow with Google program, perhaps even Google and Gemini AI will learn from what these four presenters in the Stanford Law Rock Center presentation on October 10th are doing with AI in the boardroom. And perhaps World University and School can grow both of our wings with Gemini AI in our WS boardroom in new ways. So this is a remarkable entrepreneurial opportunity, and a remarkable set of coding possibilities and opportunities as World University and School seeks to build out our blockchain in particular. And I've prepared the WS agenda and news for next week, Monday, October 13th, and we'll look at questions of blockchain further. With regard to Chengdiao Fan's presentation at Singapore Token 2049, the largest cryptocurrency conference in the world, apparently, where she gave a talk recently that is fascinating and an interesting perspective on where Stanford MindPi is heading with the blockchain. And she's one of two co-founders of Stanford MindPi cryptocurrency. In what ways could World University and School also, with Chengdiao Fan's help and guidance, list the WS Corporation on, say, a stock exchange, first the NASDAQ, or first the Silicon Valley Long-Term Stock Exchange, or similar, because Chengdiao Fan is one of two founders. All of these questions play out regarding World University and School.org the nonprofit 501c3 U.S. federal legal entity, also a nonprofit state of California legal entity on the one hand, and the WS Academic Press, WS Corporation, WS Educational Services stores at the URL worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html, with the same root URL on the other hand. I am curious how we'll approach this further. And as coding, programming, computer science makes possible these next developments for both wings of World University and School. So agenda item 6, online yoga practices, hashtag yoga practices in Zoom or similar for hashtag restorative yoga asana and hashtag yoga meditation together, and where a group of people all practice their own hashtag asana poses together, learning from each other, from what they see people doing, without possibly any talking. So I'm exploring making this happen on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, hashtag WUAS yoga on Twitter and LinkedIn. So this is a set of Twitter posts. It may well happen, this first exploration, on this upcoming Saturday, October 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And depending on who might join this, I'm also interested in possibly exploring working with teaching poses that help with recovering from a hip joint replacement surgery that my cousin has just recently gone through. So I may be doing poses in these regards if, depending on who comes, and then uploading the recording to the World University and School's YouTube channel, such that my cousin could benefit from this. I have a certificate from the Iyengar Yoga Institute of San Francisco, a 2-year certificate, state of California certificate in a program that I completed in a year. So check out this set of Twitter posts, and here's an invitation to join the WUAS, possibly these open practice together yoga in Zoom sessions. And it's possible also out of this that a conversation about yoga genetics will emerge, which I'm exploring further regarding if we live beyond 122 years of age or live to 150, and gene function declines as we age, per George Church's 2019 video, 60 minutes video, 66 seconds long video interview with Scott Pelley. How might we develop yoga genetics with vaccines even for higher, faster, stronger, more supple yoga genetics, even for athletic performance, even for higher, faster, stronger Olympics? And a conversation in these regards regarding yoga genetics may emerge out of this Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for about an hour yoga opportunity. Agenda item 7. So this is regarding a recent Fettes College High School in Edinburgh, Scotland, which I went to for a year in 1977-78. Set of inquiries regarding them being an IB school, International Baccalaureate Diploma School. They also offer the A-level degrees. Whether World University and School could build out our international baccalaureate programs planning, possibly in all 7,159 known living languages, for speakers of those, and for 16 to 19-year-olds, and in a way that works with FETIs, since they are an IB school, and since I'm an alum there too, as an old Fetesian. So there are extraordinary educational and economic opportunities for FETIs, college, and potentially in collaboration with Free to Students MIT OCW-centric Wiki World University and School, of which I'm the founder, president, and head. A letter to the beginning of a letter in these regards to FETI's College and George Preston, my housemaster in Kimmergem House in 1977-78, Tony Blair, the former Prime Minister of the British Isles for about 10 years, who started in the Morden House and graduated, I think, in 71, and Richard Llewellyn, the outgoing president of the Old Fetesian Association, and Peter Norvig, Google AI director, and Old Fetesian Association with OFAs all over the world, So dear FETI's College, George Preston, Tony Blair, Richard Llewellyn, Peter Norvig, Old Fetesian Association with OFAs all over the world, all. Greetings from Free to Students, MIT OCW-centric Wiki World University and School, WUS, from someone, Scott G.K. McLeod, K78, Kimmergem 78, who attended FETIs in 1977-78 from the US and is seeking to grow WUS in new ways, potentially in partnership with FETI's College in Edinburgh. Great to see some of you at the Old Fetesian Association annual general meeting this morning, last Saturday, I think. Beginning early, around 4:15 a.m. Pacific time from the SF Bay Area. And thanks for the invitation to this OFA AGM meeting. I'm including former PM of Britain, Tony Blair, Morden 71 in this email, I think, if his Gmail and his Tony Blair Institute emails are correct. And to explore further what I attached to the text chat at the close of this meeting. With your hashtag IB Diploma Prog, P-R-O-G, short for program, this is a set of Twitter posts, how best, hashtag FETI's College OFA, hashtag Edinburgh, Scotland, to potentially develop with at World Univ and SCH, our World University and School Twitter feed handle, online hashtag IB diplomas or SIM, similar, in 200 countries and potentially in 59 known living languages. And the webpage, the wiki webpage at World University and School for the WUS International Baccalaureate Diploma and Program, which is a brainstorming wiki page, which anyone can add to or teach to. And hashtag MIT OCW-centric, hashtag Scotland WUS. So Scotland, wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org/wiki/Scotland, which is the beginning of Scotland, MIT OCW-centric World University and School for hashtag free WUS degrees. And see the blog post beginning yellow star thistle centaurea in my blog from 9 September of 2025. So the online IB diploma is something that the International Baccalaureate program out of Geneva, Switzerland, and I think Bethesda, Maryland, the Pomoja Foundation, have been developing. And so we might well have to do something related or similar, not specifically the IB program, as we seek to build out with CC4 licensed MIT OCW OpenCourseWare too. So curious how to proceed with FETIs, possibly with Tony Blair and the Tony Blair Institute, and for these extraordinary educational and possibly economic too opportunities, in that we seek to get reimbursement from all 200 countries, ministries of education, all 50 US states, in the USA departments of education. Check this out further in the blog post beginning Yellow Star Thistle Centaurea. Agenda item 8. So glad to have attended a recent Quaker meeting online. And in that, I became a Quaker actually in Scotland when I was at the University of Edinburgh in 2003, 2004, a member of the Religious Society of Friends, and created a set of tweets about what I think is the most inspiring Quaker writing that I know of. It reads, "Greetings. This is the most inspiring hashtag Quaker writing I know of. Hashtag Nobel Peace Prize 1947. Award ceremony speech by hashtag Gunnar Jan." And read it at the nobelprize.org/prizes/peace/1947 ceremony-speech. What are inspiring hashtag Quaker writings for you, V? Glad to have attended hashtag Silent Quaker meeting online this morning. Check it out. So at the top of the Quaker meeting that I attended, Twitter feed is pinned a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which seems like it might be very relevant today. And it reads, "Our only hope today lies in our ability to recapture the revolutionary spirit and go out into a sometimes hostile world, declaring eternal hostility to poverty, racism, and militarism." And this is MLK at 50. This is from the year 2018. And it certainly comes in communication with Friends, Quakers, peace testimony, and interests in being of service in many ways. Check this out further in the blog post in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/2025/09/lotus flower online free yoga practices from September of 2025, beginning Lotus Flower Online. So moving in the remaining few minutes to the WS Corporation wing, the second of two wings. Just going to check to see if, to see if anyone might be seeking to join us. Agenda item A for the WS Corporation, the second of two WS wings. Also with the nonprofit 501c3 wing, worlduniversityandschool.org, and the for-profit general stock company legal entity in California wing, worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html, still sharing the same root domain. How best to plan for one or two bank accounts? So this is a question I asked in the introduction and also in agenda item 5, I think, and from the WS Corporation side. Will we be able to list on many stock exchanges? And further, agenda item B, Stanford MindPy, new fast track KYC feature is released to enable earlier wallet activation for new users. Pi development, a new fast track KYC feature is released to enable earlier wallet activation for new users. Learn more in the app. But how does Pi work regarding Pi KYC and Pi hashtag Pi KYB, know your business? Pi KYC is know your customer. For this hashtag Pi Daily Miner who can't yet buy anything with Pi, check out this Twitter post. And I think Chengdao fans talk at Singapore Token 2049 is a possible next what's ahead for Stanford MindPi blockchain in terms of even what might lead to people being able to buy things with it. There may be people buying and selling things with it. I'm not sure how it may be regulated or not regulated by the United States government or similar or other governments. But interesting questions. So I also clarify what the KYB Pi process is according to, I think, Gemini AI, or it's no, from the mindpi.com page about KYB-business-pi, and you can read more about that in the Clarkia-Franciscana webpage, blog post for me from September of 2025 at scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/2025/09/Clarkia-Franciscana.html. So until next week, Monday, 10/13, the agenda and news for that is posted in the Lake Clark Wilderness blog post on both blogs, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com and worlduniversityandschool.blogspot.com. Check them out. And come join the WS News and Question and Answer next week on the 13th. I'll post the recording of this WS monthly business meeting, weekly business meeting to the main YouTube channel, youtube.com/Scott McCloud World University, and also to the two main Twitter feeds, Twitter X /World Univ and SCH, and Twitter.com/WS Press, as well as to today's blog, potentially last week's blog too. So to Asiatic Lion and Lake Clark blog posts. So until next week, all the best. Questions, sgkmccloud@worlduniversityandschool.org. Until next time, thanks. Bye.